All right. Shalom Akim. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Recha, Kodash. All right. I want to give double honors to my apostles and elders at Great Millstone, which Ruel. And I want to give a peace, greetings, and salutations to all the elect Akim, that's pushing his word in truth and sincerity, throughout the four corners of the earth. And our brothers that's not wavering in the faith, being diligent in the truth. I say shalom to you, brothers, and I say shalom, to the few sisters that believe and all meekness and humbleness. I say shalom. I'm your brother Zakaria from GMS Miami Camp, and our Lord willing, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shah Bahasham, Recha Chodash, Adawan Ratazah. That means Lord willing. Also, Lord willing, this lesson is edifying to the elect of the nation Israel, And my lesson today, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shah Bahasham, Recha Chodash. It's based on this article that I came across on Sky News, all right, which I believe Elder Pastor Har, he did a video on it with Dabu 777, how Russia used hypersonic missiles, all right, and this is modern warfare, man. All right, these missiles they can reach, all right, to Europe in like 10 minutes, all right, and they only gonna get faster and stronger, all right, because the Lord said these missiles gonna be shot from one end of the earth to another. Talk about intercontinental ballistic missiles, man, and they're gonna move fast, all right, because this is the technology that the Lord put into these nuclear scientists, all right, to bring forth these weapons, all right, these nuclear bombs, all right, and ultimately he gave it to the so-called white men, which are the Edomites, all right, so he can raise them up, so ultimately he can bring them down, just how he did ancient Pharaoh, man. They have this technology, so they think they can control and rule the world. I wish they are ruling the world by the sword. All right, but the Lord set them up, and the Lord's about to bring them down. So this book of 2 Esdras chapter 16. Bear with me. 2 Esdras chapter 16 and verse 13. For strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow, his arrows that he shooteth are sharp. Talking about these missiles. And shall not miss when they begin to be shot into the ends of the world. So this is not talking about an actual arrow, a bow and arrow. You have a bow and then you put the arrow in the bow and then you shoot it, and by you shooting it, you in Florida and it's going to reach over to Russia. No, that's not talking about it. It's talking about the intercontinental ballistic missiles. All right, those hypersonic missiles. All right, they're gonna put them in. They got them in the silos. All right. They're going to press the button, and they're going to come out of the silos, just like an arrow come out of the bow. And they're going to fly like thousands of miles, all right, to hit America, which is Babylon the Great. All right, so let's go into this article a little bit, because we're in the time of war, this Third World War. It says this from SkyNews.com. I believe Sky News is out of Australia, I believe. It says Russia's use of hypersonic missiles bring fresh threat to Europe and NATO, and ultimately NATO and Europe, all right, which America is a part of NATO, all right, they're gonna turn their back against America, and now I believe they're gonna all side with Russia. All right, something's gonna happen, or if they don't side with Russia, they just gonna go against America, all right, and they're gonna shoot the missiles. However it is, NATO is going to break up, and they're going to go to war against America. It says with a reported range of up to 5,500 kilometers, the Oreshnik ballistic missile, all right, theoretically puts much of Europe within reach. All right, so it's called the Oreshnik. It says Russia inclusion of the Oreshnik intermediate range ballistic missile IRMB in its latest missile and drone strikes on Ukraine has drawn attention well beyond the immediate battlefield, raising urgent question about the wider security implications for Europe and NATO alike. The nuclear-capable hypersonic missile was launched against Lviv on January 8th as part of an intensive overnight strike on western, central, and southeastern Ukraine, comprising 278 Russian missiles and drones. So these wars is getting bigger. They striking. It says, while physical damage caused to the it's kind of hard for me to say these words, specifically by the Oreshnik strike in Lviv, whatever, was largely contained to the workshop of a state enterprise. The significance of this attack lies in what is signals rather than what is destroyed. With a reported range of up to 5,500 kilometers, it theoretically puts much of yours within reach. Its immense speed of Mach 10 to 11 to its integral is too dangerous. The faster a missile travel, the less time missile defense have to detect, track, and intercept it. So what? They going so fast that they can't stop it. Let's look with this. Let's Google this right quick. What is this? Damn. Mach 10 to Mach 11 is incredibly fast, representing 10 to 11 times the speed of sound, translated to roughly 7,600 to 8,400 plus miles per hour. So this shit going 7,000 to 8,000 miles per hour. That's how fast the missile's going. All right, that's how fast they're gonna hit. All right, so you ain't gonna have no time to escape these things, man. All right, that's why the scripture said America gonna be destroyed in 1 hour. Those missiles are gonna be 200 million nuclear warheads gonna hit this place, and it's gonna pelt and it's gonna be destroyed in 1 hour, man. It's not gonna take that long. All right. So it says the Mach 10 to 11, that's from 7,000 to 8,000 miles per hour. And then your defense system is not going to be able to detect it, because these missiles going to be shot to hit to Russia, man. It says the Royal United Services Institute has previously assessed it that the IRMB traveling at Mach 10 could reach Britain within 10 minutes if launched from Western Russia. And they got these things, they got these missiles on submarines. All right. America think they're too far. Well, you got submarines over there in Cuba, off the coast of America, man. Right here in Florida, right here by Florida. All right, so they said that I should hit Britain in 10 minutes. You know them NATO niggas gonna scramble. They don't want that smoke. They gonna look at America and say, yo, you the problem. We don't want this smoke from Russia right now. It says, while Ukraine has hit successful missile interception rates of 80% in the past, this dropped to a new low. Yeah, because why? They shooting them big boys now. All right? They shooting them big boys. They was shooting probably them them little water guns. All right, now they changing it. It says drop to a new low of 54%, shot down or suppressed by the last quarter of 2025. Hypersonic ballistic missile systems are designed to reduce those interception rates even further. All right. The Lord said they shall hit a blow on the steel. Let me get that real quick. Talking about your defense systems, all right? The Bible talks about everything. This is Joel 2. Talking. Joel chapter 2, verse 7. It says, they shall run like mighty men. This is talking about the missiles. It's symbolic. All right. It says, they shall run like mighty men. They shall climb the wall like men of war. They shall march everyone on his ways, and they shall not break their ranks. Yeah, because they're not going to break their ranks. They're not going to break their ranks. You see how they go in formation? When those missiles be shot, they all go in the same formation. Because the Lord putting his spirit on them to do that, man. Verse 8, it says, neither shall one thrust another. They shall walk on every, they're not going to hit each other. They shall walk everyone on his path. When they fall upon the sword, they shall not be wounded. All right. So what? When they fall upon a sword, that means talking about a defense system. Because they said what? What is a defense system? That's basically, they showed that in that movie, House of Dynamite. They said basically a bullet hitting a bullet. So you got a missile hitting a missile to block it. So it says, when it shall fall upon the sword, they shall not be wounded. It's gonna break right through the defense system, man. All right. This shit is over with. It says some defense analysts have questioned whether the Oreshnik is as groundbreaking as Vladimir Putin has often claimed, suggesting it may be a modified version of existing RS-26 Rubizel IRM missile. All right. So Russia got some shit because the Lord has said he's staring up the Medes. The modern day Medes are the Russians, and the Lord's using this. Let's go, man. The Lord building this thing up, man. It says, that's why the elder apostles, they've been going through Jeremiah 50, Jeremiah 51. You know what I mean? Jeremiah 50, verse 51. It says, Jeremiah 50, verse 1. The word that the Lord spake against Babylon, who is Babylon? America, and against the land of the Chaldees by Jeremiah the prophet, which he's talking about this Babylon, modern day Babylon, the daughter of Babylon, not ancient Babylon. It says, declare ye among the nations and publish, set up a standard, publish and conceal not. Say, Babylon is taken, Baal is confounded, Murdoch is broken in pieces, her idols are confounded, her images are broken in pieces, because the Lord is breaking this place down. All right, America's about to go through hell. Verse 3, for out of the north cometh up a nation against her. Who is that country, that nation out of the north? Russia. Because why? They're north, and they're living in the ancient in the landmass of the ancient Medes, all right, the sons of Japheth. It says, which shall make her land desolate. How is it going to make the land desolate? By those missiles. And none shall dwell therein. They shall depart, both man and beast. All right, so the Lord is about to destroy this place, man. All right, the land of the north, the Lord is using it. All right. Verse 9, jump down. For lo, I will rise to come up against Babylon, and assembly of great nations from the north country. So Russia, their allies, should say the kings of the east is being prepared, all right, to come against Babylon. They shall set themselves in array against her. From thence shall she be taken. The arrow shall be as a mighty expert man. None shall return in vain. All right, so they're not going to return in vain, as we just said. They shall not miss when they be shot to the ends of the earth. 2nd Esdras 16. And Chaldea shall be a spoil, talking about America, and all that spoil her shall be satisfied. Because the Lord's doing this, and the Lord is going to, what? The Lord is going to be satisfied, because why? This is his will. Verse 11, because ye were glad, because ye rejoice, O ye destroyers of my inheritance. What? They were glad against the children of Israel. All right, which is us, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And also the Israelite foreigners that scattered amongst the nations, that lineage go back to the 12 tribes according to the fathers. All right, they were happy, and they destroyed the Lord's heritage. They call us blacks, which we are Israelites. The so-called Negro here in America, he's from the tribe of Judah. He's the real Jew. Then you got the house of Judah, Benjamin, so-called West Indians. You got the Levites, so-called Haitians. All right, which the house of Judah. All right. Y'all telling us we Haitians, West Indians, Black Americans, African Americans. You call the so-called North American Indians. All right. You call them Indians, which they're Gad and Reuben. You got the so-called Mexicans, Issachar. They're the Issacharites, so-called Puerto Ricans. They're Ephraimites, so forth and so on. You got a lot to pay for. That's why the Lord's about to destroy this place. He says, but because you are grown fat as the heifer, as grass, as billows of bulls. Yeah, you got fat off the back of the Israelites. Free labor. All right? That's why these missiles are coming. Go back to some articles. It says, nevertheless, Ukraine's foreign minister, and what these small hatters, these little tiny people with these little demon people that control the world with the little tiny hats, they're gonna lead you Americans right into World War III, man. All right, y'all gonna get cooked. Nevertheless, Ukraine's foreign minister, Andriy Sembria, whatever, man, described Oreshnik as a great threat to European security. It is easy to see why the missile struck infrastructure in the western Ukrainian city of Lviv, whatever, around 40 miles from the Polish border. Poland, of course, has already had its nerve tested by the Kremlin on numerous occasions, most notably experienced an incursion of its airspace by Russian drones in September 2025. Yeah, I remember that. This brings the use of such a system ever closer to NATO territory than its previous use in November 2024, which struck at the central Ukrainian city of Dnipro. Initial assessments suggest that the latest Oreshnik strike, as with the last one, may have carried inert, non-explosive warheads, but they can put warheads on them. That's the thing. They can put warheads on them motherfuckers, man. This place is cooked, man. They got it. They gonna switch sides. It's just the beast shall hate the whore. The beast is NATO to EU, and the whore that rideth the beast in Revelation 17 is America. All right, they're gonna turn, bro. It says limiting the intermediate destruction caused by the missile itself. However, defense experts stress that showcasing the missile's capability, speed, range, and survivability is a real message from the Russians. The timing of the launch especially pointed given Russia's recent changes to its nuclear deterrence doctrine and lowering its threshold for a nuclear response. Yeah, so everything's going nuclear. The scripture said, this war shall be with burning and fuel of fire. This Third World War is going to be shot by thermonuclear missiles. All right, which is a lot. Well, yeah, read a little bit more and I'll close out. It says, even more concerningly, it comes just after Moscow's heated warning that any British and French military units and facilities deployed to Ukraine under any future peace deal will consider legitimate targets. So you gonna get y'all ass. Given Oreshnik's reputation as a missile that can pulverize underground bunkers. Damn, they can hit underground bunkers. The wider security implication for Ukrainian NATO infrastructure like military and storage facilities, not to mention their personnel, cannot be ignored. With Putin having expressed his intentions to employ the missile with more conventional payloads, as well as a more frequent appearance of Oreshnik in the war with Ukraine, cannot be ruled out entirely. So they're going to continue to use it. For now, though, its rare appearance have added both its menace and mystique. Oreshnik then is more than just a military weapon deployed against Ukraine. It can also be read as a warning shot from the Kremlin against what is called foreign interference from Ukraine's Western allies and partners. While the most recent Oreshnik strike may not represent an imminent military threat to NATO, it does rise to strategic temperature, exposing vulnerabilities in Western missile defenses and forces NATO leaders to consider worst-case scenarios, underlining just how closely the war in Ukraine is tied to European security more broadly. So what is going down, man? This Third World War. Scripture say, measure the time diligently, and when the time of war. There's a time and a season for everything. So with that, I'm going to close out, Lord, and this lesson was edifying to the elect of the nation of Israel. I want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah Bahashem, Recha Kodash. All right, I want to give double honors to my apostles and elders at Great Millstones, Ruel. And I want to give all peace, greetings, and salutations to all the like Akim, that's pushing his word and truth and sincerity. Hey, Shalom Akim, keep pushing, keep it on. Shalom.